This is a Hot Pie Original.
The great philosopher Charles Barkley is weighing in now on vaccine mandates. So you know this is going to go well, right? This isn't so entertaining just because of Charles Barkley. It's even more entertaining because of the tweets by the great Cole Beasley, who thinks he's Gandhi or something now. Charles Barkley, in an interview with CNBC, the Basketball Hall of Famer announced that he had received the COVID vaccine and strongly recommended that others do the same. Thanks, Chuck. Yeah, I'm vaccinated, the NBA legend said. Everybody should be vaccinated, period. The only people who are not vaccinated are just a-holes. Only Chuck could do this on CNBC. To explain why he believes, I guess he was asked to comment about what the sports leagues are doing. To explain why he believes all professional sports leagues should require players to be vaccinated against COVID-19 before returning to the field. He says, quote, "Can you imagine if one of those guys that are not vaccinated, if they get one of these players' kids, wives, girlfriends, moms, and dads sick and they die over some unnecessary conspiracy BS? I think that would be tragic." Yes, Chuck, that would be terrible, okay? He also pointed out that sports is still a business and needs to be respected like any other formal workplace when it comes to safety. There's stuff that you can't do at work and there's stuff that you have to do at work. So every workplace has rules, and I think one of the rules should be that guys have to be vaccinated. It's weird how, and there's a point to this, but it's weird how the NFL won't go all in. Now, I guess they can't go all in and say, Jerry Jones comes out and says, get vaccinated or else, because of the state of Texas, of course, the business owner doesn't have that freedom. So it'd be all over the map. So the NFL has stepped in and basically said, if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to be tested all the time. You're running the risk of, if you test positive and others test positive, that you run the risk of forfeiting a game, which would drive those owners crazy. And if you test positive and because you're not vaccinated, then you're going to lose the paycheck until you come back. And that you would think that would be a big enough deal. Apparently not. So he says, per the NFL's official website, NFL guidelines require vaccination of all Tier 1 staff. That includes coaches, front office executives, equipment managers, and scouts. However, the NFL does not require players to be vaccinated, but players who are not vaccinated will face strict protocols and consequences like fines and a game forfeit if they choose to decline the vaccine. Okay. So why bring this up? Here comes Buffalo Bills, soon to be Austin Bison or New Braunfels Bison or Seguin Bison, Cole Beasley, and Arizona Cardinals star receiver DeAndre Hopkins are among the players who have been transparent about their hesitancy to get vaccinated. Listen to this. Beasley tweets, "I'll get vaccinated and be an advocate for it if Pfizer puts a percentage of its earnings from the vaccine in my wife's name." What? Gandhi? Blonde-haired mullet Gandhi? What? "I'll get vaccinated and be an advocate for it if Pfizer puts a percentage of its earnings from the vaccine in my wife's name." John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce in all 50 states, now in several retail outlets as well. So we're going to turn it over to the social media rock chef superstar, and we're going to walk through a few sauces and why you should buy. We've done beet heat, so we're second in line now for the tasting. Don't forget, everyone, go to atxhotsauce.com. So here we go.
All right, so this one is our smoked habanero 5-pepper. We smoke habaneros with ancho,
Is that going to hurt?
This one? No,
Yeah.
This one's actually really, really good.
Okay.
This is like your traditional tapatía, but without the vinegar in it, right? And because of that fermentation process that we've talked about all the time. This one is great on sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Great on hot wings. I think you're going to really like this one too, especially the smoky flavor with the adobe chipotle and the the smoked habaneros. We actually smoked the habaneros before we.
Does that go with the cab?
This would not go with the cab. This would go with the great Chenin Blanc, though.
I teed you up with that one.
Yeah.
That is good.
That's good. Isn't that good? It's just classic take. Well, it's a new take on a classic item. So it's called smoked habanero 5-pepper.
All right, don't forget
One of my favorites.
Don't forget atxhotsauce.com. So I think he's implying, and this may be a fairly constant anti-vax position, he's implying a money grab by Pfizer. Not a money grab by your owner, by the way. No way. Why don't you accuse your ownership of some of that same stuff? So when is he going to make this? When is he going to walk? When is the Jerry Rice of 2021 going to quit football and walk away and say, then I think you might get a little bit more respect. You still do it on Twitter. So this is now moved from I'm not putting that stuff in my body to this is really Pfizer just getting a money grab. I mean, what a tweet. I'll get vaccinated and be an advocate for it if Pfizer puts a percentage of its earnings from the vaccine in my wife's name. Says the guy making, I don't know what his contract was, $12 million a year. Give it up, man. Give up the $12 million. Let's see how your wife feels about that. Mullet. Mark Cuban then challenged him via tweet, offered to buy the athlete's wife a share of Pfizer stock if he got vaccinated. Oh, man. He has every right. He can walk. He can walk away, but I can't wait until we get opening. I cannot wait until opening night to see if DeAndre Hopkins is going to give up $16 million a year and say, you know what, I quit this game. I quit. Giving up the paycheck. I can't wait to see if Cole Beasley, slot receiver with that mullet hair, if he gives up the paycheck to quit. And maybe some others. I don't know. We need to hurry up and get to the judgment day, although it's already happening, when they have to decide whether they're going to play or walk. Because that's what it really should come down to. I mean, if you're running a team and you're trying, just like anyone in any office anywhere, to Charles Barkley's point, you need to know who's going to show up. I mean, if your sales staff can't make calls because of COVID or because they don't want to be a part of it, what are you going to do? I mean, at some point, management is management going to start planning without them, game planning without them, having, do you actually have one of these guys take fewer reps in practice for someone else because, you've already know that he's gone knucklehead, and so he may not even be around. Do you just go ahead and start practicing that way? Because that's what the Texans do with Deshaun Watson. They assume he's going to be gone, so they have him whole blocking dummies. I mean, if you're running a team, think of the position you're put in now. These are two of your most important players, and you don't know what's going to happen. Do you move on without them? Can you imagine what the troll Bill Belichick would do? They just, good, don't show up tomorrow. See ya. I mean, how do you prepare? I mean, these are two people that get the ball a lot. So you have to sit there and think it through with your coaches and go, look, I don't know if the blonde mullet's going to be around. We don't know. He said something about Pfizer stock or something. So can we put somebody else in his spot? Because I don't know him by September if he's going to stick around or walk or test positive, because they're going to test him practically every half hour. And when he does, that's it. Goodbye. So how do you prepare knowing your two biggest stars, some of your biggest stars, may or may not be around in September? Good news is you don't have to pay them, right? I mean, that's the upside, is that you at least save the money and you sign someone else. Imagine that. Imagine somebody walks over this, and that's their right. Look, if it's what you believe, it's what you believe. But imagine they walk and say, cool, we got an extra $12 million. We'll go pay somebody else. And you lose your gig. How's the missus going to feel about it then, Mr. Pfizer stock?
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.